I'm going to be doing a starter prison today. Played this quite a bit in the past when it first came out, and I kind of wanted to get back into it, so I was watching all the new alphas that they came out with and catching up on it. And now that I have, I figured, I'll get started, get back into it. Used to love this game. Actually, I'm gonna pause that for just a minute. If you haven't seen this game before, it is basically just a small little sandbox game that allows you to build a prison, manage your inmates, and just whatever. It's actually pretty fun. I rather enjoy it for what it is. It's not the most complicated game in the world. There is a lot of micromanaging if you want to do that. I don't know. I'm not hugely into the micromanaging scene. So today we're just going to build just a small little basic detention center. I enjoy it. I think it's fun. So we're going to start off, like I said, pretty simple. Basically, to have a detention center, you just need this stuff on the side. Build a holding cell, build a shower, build a yard, build a kitchen, build a canteen, hire at least 2 guards, and hire at least 2 cooks. Fairly straightforward. What I'm building here, what I'm going to start is, I'm in the planning segment right now so I can lay down walls and kind of figure out what I want to do. What I'm doing right now is allowing for like this little entryway. You'll see what that's for in a minute. In bigger prisons, you'd want to be more planned out, and I will do larger builds later down the line. This is just me getting back into the game because it has been quite a while since I last played. So yeah, I kind of want to get used to everything again. So yeah, let's get into this. Right now, I'm using the wall tool to just kind of plan out my walls a little bit. I want everything to just sort of mesh well. I am building slightly larger than the bare minimum requirements are for some of these rooms. And that's fine. Your holding cell, for example, needs to be bare minimum is a 5x5. And I did something a little bit larger than that, so, you know, whatevs, it works. Like I said, I'm just building a small little thing to just sort of get back into it. We're gonna, over here, say, that's gonna be the holding cell area. Have this come in here. Have that lead down to, actually, okay, that's 6x6. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Go over 2. That's why planning is sort of, you know, important. And yes, I am indeed, I can carry that down 1 notch. That'll work. Okay. I'm going to build 2 of them. Doors on either side. I want that to be a doorway. I want that to be a doorway. And I'm going to have one more. And then you'll have to pardon me, I do have a slight cold. Okay, there we go. Go there. Yeah, okay. Okay, I like that. Like that. So how we're going to do this, enter with doors, large jail door there, large jail door there. Reason for that in a minute. Going to have this be a jail door. Going to have this wall come over like that. Have this be a staff door. That be a staff door. And like, look at that. Okay. This is the holding cell area. This is going to be the entryway. We'll see why for that in a minute. Wonderful delivery segment. Okay. I want this and this to come across. That'll do. And then that. And that. Actually, I want it to streamline a little bit better than that. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. So now we're going to have this door here, this door here. Okay. Next thing on the agenda that I'm doing, so I'm going to add, I apologize if you hear my cat in the background. He does like to cause trouble. Sabin, no. Okay. There we go. There's those. Okay. So. Then we're going to come down here a little bit. Since this is going to be the main hallway, do that. We're also, no, we're also going to do another hallway on this side. Because it's fun to do hallways on either side of things. Not really, but yeah, gotta love it. So that'll be an entryway, that'll be an entryway. Then this will be a small eatery area. Like I said, this is just me figuring out how to play this again after a long time of not playing. I used to have really elaborate builds in this back when it was kind of new. I used to love doing like all the complicated micromanaging of a large-scale prison. So yeah, I like that. That'll do. Let's see. Actually, no, I am going to make it slightly longer, I think. Because if I do want to continue this prison, even just the slightest bit, what is that? That's a 10 by 12. Honestly, that'll work. Just for what I'm doing today. Just a small little prison. Pop, 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 pop. And I know there's a lot of entryways there. I do that because, honestly, you don't need to worry about having too much of a backup on small prisons, but on big ones, you can have all sorts of backups and delays, and then prisoners fight, and it just gets ugly quick. So I've made a habit of not allowing that to happen. I'm going to put some metal detectors down while I'm thinking about it, because I have a bad habit of not thinking about it until it's too late. Another place I'm going to put them is right there. Another place is right there. Put Staff doors right there, because, you know, we could always use staff doors. Okay, yeah, that looks okay. Looks just fine. In fact, so I'm going to... Yeah, I mean, that takes care of all the major requirements at the very least. One thing I will do, just for the heck of it, because why not, is go there and do that. And there you go. That'll actually be the basics of the detention center. That'll get all of our main requirements down, which honestly, no, it's strange because I used to, like I said, I used to do some really elaborate stuff, and it's kind of weird getting back into this after so long. Alright, so we have that, all that stuff down. And I'm going to just do some plain fencing. Honestly, with tiny builds like this, you don't need to have complicated, this honestly will work for just a small little detention center with basic stuff, which is what we're doing. I'm just going to toss out 2 guards now, and just toss out 2 cooks now. I'm just going to toss out a warden. You know, in larger, more complicated builds, you can't have all of that randomness, but whatever. In a small build like this, 8 prisoners are not going to create a gigantic riot to the point of no return, so at least they shouldn't. Alright, so I'm going to push the start button. Actually, I'm going to push that so it goes a little faster. And I'm going to see... There's our little workmen building all that. Now, while they get started on that, let's start placing objects. We know that this is going to be the canteen. So what I'm going to do, because this is, again, just a small canteen. It's not very big at all, and it doesn't need to be very big for what we're doing. If this was going to be a large-scale prison, I would put a lot more thought into it. But it's honestly, like I said, it's just a tiny baby little prison, so it doesn't need to be that big of a deal. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is going to take... I need a food thing. Forget what it's called. But I do know you need one of those food trays. Where is it? Serving table. There it is. Okay. And, you know, you just plunk that there. Now, this is an alpha. That means that there are still bugs floating around in this wonderful game. For all of its loveliness. But, yeah. Okay. As you can see, yay for kitchens and yay for holding cells. Okay. Plunk there, plunk there. Okay. Now, honestly, I want to just make a quick pause on that really quick. Okay, so. Hello, kitchen. Yes, I know I put that little area there. That's honestly... Again, for smaller prisons, it's just easier to have that little segment for your workers to walk through, because yay. For the win. Alright, so bare minimum for a kitchen that you need, you have to have your fridge, you have to have a sink, and you have to have a cooker. And what I tend to do, I mean, that's literally all you need. That bare minimum will get you a kitchen. And you go to your room assignments, just click kitchen, plunk that there. Take your canteen that we built earlier. This will have all of the requirements needed for a canteen, so we'll plunk that there. Right now it's not registering. It will as soon as we push play again. For the holding cell, what objects we need for the holding cell are basically benches and toilets. But I like to make them a little bit bigger so I can add more things. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plunk a bench there, I guess. And then, again, bare minimum that you need is a toilet. Some people get really fancy with their stuff. They'll put a toilet and then they'll build like a wall around it with a door for some privacy. Or, some people just, if they really want to make like prison hell, they'll do a whole line of toilets. That's actually kind of funny. But for now, I'm just going to do this. Because if I choose to build up this prison later, I'll use this and I'll kind of be evil about it, and I'll just shove 80 prisoners in that tiny holding cell. I wouldn't recommend doing that without an armored guard, which is something I'll get into later if I choose to continue building this. I do like to, on occasion, just kind of put a few beds down. If you're gonna play with this at any length, having beds in a holding cell is sometimes a good idea. Just for whatever reason. But you just mark that as a holding cell, and there you go. It'll work. That's your bare minimum that you need. A lot of times, people will build shower stalls inside of there too, or something like that, to just fulfill that need. But we'll do that out in the yard. I know that seems a little strange, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. Next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna just take this brick wall and we're just gonna line up these bricks a little bit, just because. For the next little thing we're gonna do. So that's a holding cell. That'll work. Okay, that's got all that stuff. Alright, so next we're just gonna fulfill a few office needs for something we're gonna do next, which I'll show you in a minute. So I'm just gonna make 3 offices. So each office requires a chair, a filing cabinet. And yeah, I'm not getting very creative with them, but I just want to plunk them down, get them out of the way. And a desk. And that is literally all you need in the offices. One of them is going to be the warden's office. And then other things you can purchase are like the secretary, or the accountant rather is what it's called. That uses an office. Foreman uses an office. Chief uses an office, psychologist uses an office, and the lawyer, which is a fairly new one, I guess, uses an office. Lots of people use the office. Next thing we're gonna do, because I didn't think about it prior. Okay, that should be okay. We're gonna let them build that. On the other side of that, or rather, there's the power station. Use that. We're just going to plunk it there on the side. We're just going to plunk the water station there on the side. I'm going to put a few capacitors down. You don't really need all that many capacitors. A lot of people just go in a big square like that. For something this small, you do not need that many capacitors. In fact, I'll be surprised if we even use a quarter of that capacitor's power. With all of them floating around like that, I'll be surprised if we use even half of that in energy, but whatever. Just because this is such a basic, tiny prison, it would honestly be funny if we used half of the power that is required of it, but whatever. And again, a lot of people get really, really creative and really complicated with how they have their utility planning. And if you were having a big scale prison, like something that covered this whole map, you would have to, because otherwise it gets really confusing and color coordination gets crazy really quick. But for this, it doesn't really matter. Let's see. Next thing I want to do is use a... I'm going to do reception. I wanted to do a little reception room. It's one of the newer rooms. It wasn't in the old builds when I used to play this. So I've not really seen it in action, so I was like, hey, I was going to give it a try and see. So for a reception room, we need an office desk, a table, and a chair. So, there's, I guess, I don't really know how I would, I guess, do that. And then maybe, like, a chair there. And then a table. Table, right? Yeah, table. Interesting. I have no idea why, but we're just gonna put the table there and then deal with it later, I guess. Large pipe. I'm gonna connect that, bring that down, bring that over. You wouldn't have to bring it all the way down that way, I just am, because why not? And then bam, and then these would literally, you know, go across, and there you go. Everything is all nice and unlocked still until the prisoners come. It'll be a while yet, from the looks of it. So we're gonna go over to the yard, I guess. I'm gonna build a jail door on the yard. And literally, all you need for a shower, this is going to sound really goofy and whatnot, but the only thing you need for a shower is literally a shower head. Like, that's all you need. So we're just going to put 3 showers down, for example, 3 shower heads down, and just say, like, click the shower button, like that. That's literally all you need there. And once the shower heads are there, that will be the shower area. That's actually how funny it is, how tiny it can be. It can literally just be that tiny little blocked area with 3 shower heads. You can actually go down to 1 blocked area and 1 shower head if you really want to be cruel, but, you know. And, I'm gonna unlock the administration center because we bought the warden. We're gonna have the warden unlock finance. Yeah, see, it's slowly coming back to me. It's slowly coming back. So yeah, unlock finance. We're gonna go to rooms. Hello, office. Gonna mark those 3 as offices. And once the warden goes in there, he'll start studying he'll start studying for finance, which will unlock the accountant, which will go into another office, and then we can buy other stuff. It's gonna be fun. The little workers are being busy little bees. They're kind of taking a while, so I'm gonna buy a few more workmen. Yeah, I know. Failed access. Once that gets built, it'll be fine. The other thing, like I said, just to cover the yard, just if you mark that as a yard, that's all you have to do. And then once the showers are in place, it'll be considered completed. That is a goofy formation for the... That cooker does that sometimes. Those cookers, sometimes they don't go up against the wall. Same thing with the fridge. They kind of act wonky when you plug them in, which is... Because if you notice, it's facing the right way. It's just sticking out a little bit. It's kind of weird, but... Again, it's an alpha, so what do you expect? Game won't be released till, I guess, the end of this year is when it will be officially released. Yeah, so as you can see, we have, after the showers there, it'll be a completed detention center. So that'll be good. Now, when you see these blinking lights here, that means that there's no electricity going to them yet, but as you can see on the ground, they're still building that stuff. So once that's all built, it won't matter anymore. Same thing with the toilets. Once the water, once the utilities are finished, then it won't have that problem anymore. Yeah, see, like all those are nice and set up. This is still crying because it's not. It's freaking out. But once it has some pipe going to it, it'll be fine. Going to put a large jail door there. Just because I forgot to previously. And that is literally bare minimum all you need to hurry up and unlock bureaucracy. Now, the prisoner thing, that changed a lot since last time, too. The intake, I've never really played with these sliders before. It used to be, it would send you an amount of prisoners, like it would start out like at 8 prisoners, like it's doing now, and it would send you a certain amount. Now I guess you can toggle what you want. There's also death row, which is kind of a new thing, I guess. They didn't have death row back when I was playing, but now I guess they do. So I'll maybe showcase that off later as well. Do a stream with a death row prison and all that. I guess it's a whole rigmarole. Like I said, I was watching the alpha stream where they were explaining it, and there's a whole set list of things you have to do to even have death row inmates. So I mean, they took great care in constructing this game and making sure to draw the line at what is a game and what is no longer fun, and they teeter that line pretty well. This really is a great sandbox title, I gotta say. Yeah, medium sec. We'll put max sec too because we're crazy like that. Doesn't really matter. As you see, I have no cells beside the holding cell, so any prisoners I have right now will go directly into there. It would be different if I had holding cells, or if I had more than one cell. If I had the small, what would be like a regular cell, it's, if I go into rooms, it's a 2x3 cell, so it would be like, if I wanted to, for example, a cell about that big. That cell is the cell size for one prisoner. I know with the legal, this guy, when you unlock him, you can, where is it? Legal prep, death row, small cells. Yeah, here it is. You can, as long as you can fit the things that require a cell, which is a bed and a toilet, that's it, into the space, you can name it a cell. But you have to unlock that first. So technically, you can have really, really tiny cells in this prison. It'd be kind of cruel and evil, but, I'm sure people do it. I'm sure it's kind of awesome to see people do it. Just pop down a few lights, because that is a really dark corner, and I don't know if I like it that dark. So yeah, and as you can see, this just allows for that. My accountant is free and open, so I'll plunk the accountant down. The accountant is kind of cool. They allow for land expansion, which allows you to build more like, I chose a big map, so I wouldn't have to do it right away, but like this would open up, well, any of the sides. So any of these sides could open up if I wanted it to. It would cost money, of course, but, whatever. The other thing is, you can do tax relief, offshore tax haven, basically saves you money. Bank loans, if you need that. Extra grant, that'd be nice. Currently, you can only take 2 grants at a time. Extra grant allows you to take another one. So these grants that we've been taking, like the 2 I took at the start, basically, the first one was to build the small detention center, which I did, and then obviously the second one was to have the warden and the accountant walking around. Now that I've done that, I can unlock other grants. Cell block A, just build tiny cells, smaller cells to put prisoners in so that they're not all floating around in the holding cell. Health and well-being, build a medical ward and doctors and have a shrink running around. Prison maintenance, that's slightly more involved. A lot of these are slightly more involved. Some of these are just wait around. Like if I click short-term investment and long-term investment, all that is just waiting around for my funds. That's all I'm doing. So that's, whatevs. Like, if I click that, then I literally just have to wait around for 71 game hours for that to just tick down, and then it'll give me money, basically. But yeah, so this is, yeah, we're not even using like a quarter of this power station right now. That's great. Of course, some of this isn't really well lit up, but, meh. I'll guess I'll send some light that way. And send some light that way for the light bulbs that we put in. I love how they're all just running around spastically when it's on that speed. It's great. But yeah, it's a fairly. Oh, there we go. 2 hours. So they're coming. They're getting closer. But yeah, so this is basically the gist of Prison Architect. Like I said, it gets really involved once you start unlocking deployment and the logistics. It gets to the point where you can micromanage like every little detail, and you can really get into the nitty gritty. If you have multiple types of prisoners, because you can have minsec, which is the minimum security. You can have normal risk, which is your normal risk guys. They're slightly higher tempered. They're more likely to kick off. Like, see our low risk guys, they're here in our gray. These guys are probably gonna be fairly casual. They're not gonna want to destroy things as easily. It's gonna be easy to manage. These normal risk guys, though, these guys are gonna be quicker to anger, quicker to temper, quicker to just fly off the handle. High risk. Those are they have like a red coloration to their uniform, and they get crabby really easily. Then, of course, you have other types, like, oh, look, they're all getting strip searched. They're all getting strip searched, and now one by one they're getting escorted to the cells. Some of these guys have unknown reputations. That's good. That's going to be exciting. I hope that none of these guys are going to try to cause problems too early in the game. Wouldn't be helpful. Yeah, so this is the joy of Prison Architect. This right here. So I'm going to call it here, basically. I think that's good for just a sort of beginner thing. If you want me to play more of this, I will build a more complicated, more involved prison. Like I said, I've just got a cold right now, so I'm not trying to go too insane. But if Prison Architect interests you, I'll be sure to build and expand and go into the really intricate details of it, because like I said, I used to love this game. I used to love getting into the nitty gritty. So keep an eye out for that. We're gonna name this Starter, I guess. Oh, that's load. I don't want to load prison. I want to save prison. Go away. Yeah. Save prison. That would have been interesting. Starter. So that's what we're going to name it. And so there's that. So next time we play Prison Architect, we'll probably come back to this or start an entirely new prison with much better planning and detail layout. But I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.